make it seem as if I said catch AIDS and die. It's not the case. I'm telling him not catch AIDS and die. I actually told him to move out because Jaybiez has had an issue when it comes to schooling. Just about every school that he's been to, he's been expelled from for behavior issues. So we were on our last straw. If Jaybiez decided to have a sex change, present himself as a woman,
she looks over.
The day I die, recognize Jaybiez as my son. So I'm hoping old Doc got the answer because I don't have it. But I'm
my bitch is on national television. Bitch, like, get friends like that.
I'm very concerned that with his behavior and him identifying with the one as a woman, that it could lead to dismemberment.
Your child was born with male genitalia, and so you say that's the definition, and that's not going to change. And so all of this other that is being experienced is just a mental illness or a delusion or a distortion, or what is it? What do you think?
I just recently got my bachelor's in psychology, and I have been taught that it's gender dysphoria. I do believe that it may be a form of mental illness. It's not just that he was born male. I mean, he is a male. He was born with male parts.
Y'all support my sister. Go motherfucking watch, bitch. She on motherfucking TV, bitch. I'm streaming my bitch shit. The fuck?
Man is a woman.
You know, Cleveland Clinic did a study on transgender brains, and when they did the study, they found that the brain of transgender people, their brain is actually more similar to the gender they identify with than the gender that they were assigned at birth. I mean, it's an actual brain difference.
Okay, but I don't think, and I think that that's a mental health issue.
Angela is a kid.
Okay, and I can say that I identify as a rich white woman right here on your stage. So identifying as something.
This bitch is a fool.
Different, right, from what's actually factual. I think that this is something that's just being pushed as an agenda.
There are 50 years of empirical evidence here, and there are distinct differences in the transgender brain versus the non-transgender brain. So are you asking him to ignore that, to ignore his brain, and what filter the world runs through for him?
Well, regardless of the brain, the body is there are only two bodies. You got a male body or you have a female body. You have male genitalia or you have female genitalia. So there's a lot of stuff that goes on in our brain, but
and even part of that body is the brain, right?
Yeah.
And Jaybiez's brain is telling all of the sensations, all of the experiences that the filters.
Stop telling me to cut off my fucking comments. Go cut off your fucking arms, bitch. Shit. Go watch it on the YouTube channel if you don't want to watch it in here. Fuck you. Shit. Stop fucking talking to me. Go fucking jump off a roof.
That's the fit. Then what should Jaybiez say?
Here's the thing. Jaybiez is an adult now, right? And I think that Jaybiez is able to make his own.
I'm gonna watch my bitch's shit. I'm gonna stream her shit and tell everybody that I can to watch her shit.
Be able to convince me that my son is a woman.
Y'all look at my main live gone, bitch, and I'm on my backup.
I don't think my mother.
She looks so fucking good. I was with her in Houston, bitch. In that video, her twerking, yes.
I've always been called like gay or like queer or like or stuff like that. I didn't want to play sports. I wanted to play with Barbies. I like long hair. I like pretty lashes.
She looks so hot.
I think it bothered my mom that my entire life I was different. I think my mother is a huge bigot. If it's not Angela's way, it's just completely wrong. Angela pushes her conservative agenda down everybody's throat. She wants to choke people on her beliefs. If you're not agreeing with what she agrees with, then your opinion doesn't matter. My mom is called being the worst of the worst. You're going to hell, you're gonna die of AIDS. She can be extremely intolerant to other people's opinions and how they feel. And even on her social media, she's showcased her bigoted ways very clearly.
Read her.
Actually turned me being a live streamer into a very lucrative 6-figure career. I'm pretty sure Angela probably is ashamed of me, but I don't care. I'm ashamed of a lot of the things she does as well. We're probably an embarrassment to each other.
How are you? she reverses her field and doesn't behave that way. Negative tweets and statements publicly.
Yeah, it's very up and down. Like one day it's I love you and I'm not gonna hurt you no more, and then the next day it's the random tweets or you see me dressed up. I've been, playing in makeup since I was like 13. This isn't anything new, so.
Well, some of the tweets that you've posted, you said, if you want a little boy to look like a woman, you might just be a pedophile and don't know it.
Angela is a thing online that says boys can be princesses too. And in this thing, you see little boys dressed up as grown women. They've got on gowns, they got on heels, they got on lipstick. Me, I'm a survivor of sexual abuse. Anytime I've ever put on a gown and high heels and lipstick, it's because I was trying to be sexy or have some sort of sex appeal. It's something that women do. So to suggest that a little boy, and it clearly says little boy, 5, 6, or 7 years old should be walking around dressed up like a grown woman, and if you look at it and like it, you might just be a pedophile.
You're sexualizing children. Nobody else is, you fucking pedophile.
Adults by their sexual preference. Now they're trying to convince us that it's okay to look and define children the same way. You a lie. I refuse to look at a child and tie them to a sexual preference or desire.
Exactly. Each one of those letters represents a sexuality. We should not be sexualizing children. I don't want to lose my son.
Do you think your child has the right to self-define, to have a mind not controlled by mother?
He absolutely has a right to do that, but he also has a right to respect me as his parent. And it's not about hate, it's love. I just don't have to accept my son as a woman.
It is hate.
It's hate because I'm not doing what you want me to do.
It's not about you doing what. It's not about at all about you doing what I want you to do.
Told you that I hated you?
It's about you might as well have.
Okay.
So let's take the whole dressing as a woman thing out of it. Let's say that I was sitting across from you, the perfect son you could have imagined. Some of the things you have said to me are hateful.
She said you hope you burn in hell.
Yeah.
When I said that?
She said you're gonna burn in hell.
When did I say that?
Several times. I got text messages.
Please show the text message. I never said that.
As she said, you'll end up.
What I said, she did. Quote it.
By the way, I'm very sorry for your loss, both of you.
Thank you.
She isn't sorry for my loss. My dad was brutally murdered. If we're going to talk about it, let's go ahead and talk about it. My dad was brutally murdered. He was shot in the head. When he got shot in the head, he hit the pedal on the gas. The car crashed. My dad burned alive in the car. 2 days after this, my mother was on social media. A person of some famous stature had tweeted some condolences about my dad. Angela then goes on her Instagram. We good. We don't need your condolences.
What I came here for, right, is for us to.
The wife is gagging.
That's me in the background.
The wife is gagging.
First, we have to be honest.
She's evil.
First, we have to be honest. I don't think you care about me. I don't think you care about me.
She always makes everything about her. No, bitch, like she's so evil. She is so evil.
You just contradicted yourself. You said, if he wants to be gay, I can accept that. If he wants to dress as a woman, I can accept that. But you just earlier said, no,
so
if he's going to come around me, he needs to dress.
I couldn't accept that. I said, you want me to accept that? I said, okay. I said, and then now this. I didn't say I accept it. I'll never accept him acting as a woman because he's not a woman.
Nobody gives a fuck.
I don't have to live in that delusion.
You understand.
What makes you a woman?
Because I want to be one.
So I want to be. Be your wife.
Got one. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
He said, I got one. Thank you.
I don't need to. I don't need validation from you or anybody else. You can't name one time I've ever asked you to call me a woman.
You can't, because you know I'm not.
But I didn't ask you to.
Okay, don't.
You know why? Because I don't need that validation from you as a human being.
Great.
Angela is gaslighting to her conservative people who agree with her, and she's gaslighting me. She's trying to make it seem as if, oh my God, I just want Jaybiez to respect herself, and I don't want Jaybiez to do this, and, you know, him dressing like a girl. You're making about this whole sexuality thing, which it is not.
It is for me.
Okay, that's what it's about.
Okay. He's the one that actually wants to encourage his LGBTQPIA plus thing.
I don't need it. I don't need it. I'm a full, complete human being. And you know, I don't need it, man.
I have 3 sons.
You
have one mother. You can't speak for them.
I would rather be motherless 10 times over than deal with a toxic parent. I would rather have my father be in the grave. I would rather have my father be in the grave than I would rather not.
Okay, you all know.
Well, too bad.
Stop
Too bad.
talking. You didn't hear this, but I had a conversation
They're
with
going
your mother
Eddie.
before you came out, and she said, you know, what is this that my son thinks he wants to be a woman? And I said, well, you know, interestingly, there's a very serious study by the Cleveland Clinic that has done MRI scans on transgender persons that has determined that the brain of a transgender person is much more similar in function and profile.
He talks so slow, it's annoying.
Are a transgender woman, that your brain.
He trying not to offend the gay community. He know if he say the wrong shit, it's over with.
With a straight female than it is
but
with a
if you don't
male.
mind me saying something really quickly on behalf of my community.
Speak.
Yeah, God.
Excuse me. I don't need you to interrupt.
Excuse me.
I'm speaking for myself.
You hear what your
And my
mom.
community.
That's the thing. That's
for
the
myself
thing.
and my
And
community.
you're only a
Can you
bigot when
please
you don't
not
agree
interrupt
that a
me?
man
I don't
can't
have a chance to
become a
talk
woman.
about it.
Okay, go
I'm a
ahead.
bigot and you're
I think
mentally ill.
Okay, let us-
You're mentally
come
ill,
on.
son.
Allow-
You're mentally ill,
I'm
son.
rich.
And
You and I are having a
you
conversation.
why you sitting up here with tissue in your bra?
I don't have tissue in my bra.
You don't have tissue in your bra.
I don't. You want to look at it?
You're right.
Okay,
So if I could get
You're right.
please,
You
allow
don't
this.
feel
She
upset
did not let him talk the whole time.
that I'm sitting here talking to a man and it's my sitting
No,
right
but I do want you to respect I do want you to respect my right to finish this conversation
Okay,
straight
go ahead.
here. I'll let you speak without interruption.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Angela, for me, is a brick wall. Like, if you don't agree with what she agrees with, it's very hard getting through. I've been trying to do this for 13 years. Imagine what you 40 minutes. And this is all respect to you. I feel like in order for you to help people, people have to want to be helped.
Read.
So just speaking for myself, it's a lot less about the science as far as my DNA, who I am. You don't have to like me or agree what I do, but as a human being, respect is all it really calls for. You don't have to think I'm a woman. That's cool. That's fine. You can think I'm mentally ill. That's cool. That's
I know
fine.
you're mentally ill.
What I was telling you is that I was explaining to her that this is not a mental illness, that there's actually differences within the body for someone that feels the way you do. It's not just in your mind.
But regardless,
I've been attacked for my social media. I've been attacked for being a black Republican. I've been attacked for supporting the president.
Respect is everything.
I thought that was all about American freedom. The attacks are not going to sway my belief. I mean, I just don't believe that a man can ever become a woman, or that a woman can ever become a man.
Girl.
I don't see
You look sicker than her.
part of nature.
Well, Jaybiez says her relationship with her mom has been destroyed forever because of Angela's conservative beliefs. And while Jaybiez knows that she was no saint growing up, she says her mom was demonic. Now, Jaybiez's younger sister, Imani, says that she's bearing the brunt.
This part got so emotional, bitch. Oh my god.
This is what she has to
When her
say.
sister came in, that shit made me cry.
I've witnessed a lot of fighting throughout the years between my mother and my brother. And somehow his sexuality was always brought up. My mother is disappointed in how he is presented on the internet. So my mother saw a baby twerking and she texted the entire family and basically told us not to support his behavior on the internet. My mother has called my brother derogatory terms in terms of his sexuality as a way to almost condemn his behavior. So my mom is a conservative and she is on the Trump train. We got in a disagreement about abortion and she smacked me because she thought that I was being disrespectful in our conversation about it. She does have an issue with small children being exposed to the gay lifestyle. My mom is worried that I'm influenced by my brother's way of thinking, and she's worried that I would rub off on me and that I would adopt the same mindset. My mom has been an emotional bully to us in the past. She'll tell me that she's the only person that loves me or she's the only person that ever cared for me. My mom will argue with anybody in the family, regardless of if they're a bad child or a good child. She will argue with anyone.
And Imani's so smart. When I tell you that bitch, she is so smart.
I'm so glad that you're here.
I don't like how they did her bang, but she is so fucking smart.
This whirlwind of all this conversation and debate.
Right.
And I'm sure you've been listening to some of this. If you've been within a mile of the stage, you couldn't help but hear it. What did you want to add to all this?
So I just want to bring it back to the central focus of that this is a parent-child relationship. So regardless of how my brother identifies, he is still a human being. And there's no reason, there's no circumstance that I can ever think of on this entire earth for someone to use the passing of someone's parent as a way to condemn their lifestyle. Regardless of if there was an argument, whatever names have been called, whatever has happened in the past, that is a line that you simply cannot cross.
I think you should sit over here. You're articulating this very well. Nobody interrupted you. I don't know. So that's great.
So I have to say something.
You said that since your mom got on the Trump train that they've had problems.
Wait a minute, don't say anything. Hold on. First of all, let me clarify something. I think that it's disrespectful to imply that as a black woman I can't decide who I want to support when it comes to politics. And I think that this whole issue about being black and
I didn't say that.
This is why I chose to, excuse me, because y'all keep pushing this issue. Jaybiez mentioned it about me being a Trump supporter. She mentioned it about me being a Trump supporter. And here's the thing: if Jaybiez is saying that he wants me to accept the fact that he's LGBTQA in his community, then that kind of goes both ways. You have to accept the fact that I supported a pro-life president. You have to accept the fact that
oh my God.
Online, they got the video. I sent it in. When you were online talking about me, you said I'm a dumb Trump supporting bitch. That's what you said. To be condemned for supporting the candidate of your choice. I don't believe in killing babies.
And I don't being condemned for loving the person of your choice.
Transitioning children. It's not about loving the person of your choice. It's about your behavior, and it's about the fact that you want to force me to believe that the son that I gave birth to is a woman. I don't feel like I have to partake in that delusion.
That's not what
Excuse me, I'm not done.
Typical black mama. I hate her.
Regardless of
why are you talking about it?
Regardless of if you believe Jaybiez is a woman or not, it's about the respect
I don't have
that you can have.
You want me to lie to myself?
You don't know. It's not about that. It's about how you use his sexuality to condemn him. That's not.
She was reading. Clear.
In there, bro. It's about how you use his sexuality to condemn him. That's not okay.
Well, Ashley Marie Preston is a cultural commentator, trans activist, and first trans woman to become editor-in-chief of a national publication, and first openly trans person to run for state office in California. Now, she says Angela's fear of seeing Jaybiez with a handbag is going to put Jaybiez in a body bag. And the reason that she's saying this, in my opinion, is really just looking at the statistics of the pressure and the depression and the high suicide rate among those that live in this community. And she's joining us now. Thank you so much for being here again. It's been a while since
when I tell you Angela disrespected the fuck out of this woman.
You've been listening
trans woman activist
to all of this. Help us out here, Ashley Marie.
I think it's heartbreaking all the way across the board. Because Angela may not know this, but I know that she started following me in 2018. So part of me knows that despite what she's saying about how she's not going to be convinced otherwise, she is invested in understanding not just her daughter, but the transgender community.
What daughter?
Be able
what daughter?
The outcome
what
of the
daughter?
that we
what daughter?
You cannot yell people down and win.
It's not yelling people down.
You have to allow
you brought somebody on this
people.
show that's going to try to tell me my son is a woman. My son is not a woman.
No, mommy, no.
That. You can get all the transgenders in the world. He's not a woman.
If you're secure in your belief, let someone else speak. You're being very disrespectful.
But you want me to listen to
I'm
somebody
not asking you to do
telling me my
anything
son is a
except
woman.
allow someone
That's
else to speak.
disrespectful.
Please hear me, because believe it or not, contrary to what you may think or believe, I'm rooting for both of you. I am invested in the relationship that you have with your daughter because according to
you can't
a survey,
you can't
according
because
to,
hold on. You can't be interested in me and him having a relationship because first you're disrespecting me as a parent.
I am not disrespecting you.
I feel as though
I am
you
not
are.
disrespecting you.
Because
I give you credit for your
No,
you're not.
When you tell me that this is my daughter, you tell me that this is my daughter.
You're bulldozing. I'm not telling you anything. I'm acknowledging who she is.
You're not.
I'm not. Me calling her is about honoring and respecting her personhood.
You're irrelevant. That doesn't matter.
Can we
So, according to
I asked you to come here, and I'm going to give you the respect that you deserve. I asked you to come here, and I'm not going to let you get shouted down. Say what you would like to say.
So according to a study that was done by the National Center for Transgender Equality and the National LGBTQ Task Force, so when there is a parent or parents or loved ones in the home who do not support the identity of the transgender individual, 51% have attempted suicide, 48% have become homeless, 47% have become addicted to drugs and substances, and 29% have actually had to engage in sex work.
You're not going to guilt me into accepting him as a woman because you feel like if he makes a bad decision that it's going to be my fault. If he were to listen to me, I wouldn't have to worry about those things because let's talk about some of those numbers that you mentioned. Even when Joe Biden, during his presidential debate, was talking about legalizing young children transitioning, he said his reason was because so many transgender women of color had been murdered. And he said, I think the number now is up to 17. Now, as a leader in the black community, there are thousands of black men that have been murdered. But you won't hear Joe Biden talk about that because those black men did not have a wig on. So I'm not going to elevate. Excuse me. I'm not done. I'm not going to elevate. I'm not going to elevate the issue of transgenderism over black men. At the end of the day, y'all still black men.
Gender identity is who I go to bed as, and sexual orientation is who I go to bed with.
Period.
The fact that you're making assumptions about children's genitals or your child's genitals, that is way out of bounds. At this moment, you have a decision to make as to whether you're willing to do the internal work. Making you force your children to carry your shame.
Okay,
We're going to take a break. We'll be right back.
From my understanding, Jaybiez likes to dress up. He likes the way that he's transformed. I mean, I've seen pictures of Jaybiez and he is absolutely stunning. I've been taken aback by some of the photos that I've seen because he was so beautiful. He always looked like his mom, kind of like my twin.
Girl, not a Friday, Angela.
Maybe you guys can help me figure it out.
You know Jaybiez eat you up.
Angela says that Jaybiez has warped Imani's mind into thinking dressing like a female is okay. You're concerned about the influence, right? And does she need to be concerned about influence here? You seem to be very self-possessed.
Right. I am very outspoken and very opinionated in my own right about things like gender identity and how she should parent, because bullying your children emotionally and calling them all types of names is not preparing your child for life. That's only going to damage them. And I don't understand why, as a parent, you cannot realize that fact.
So I would say that you have done it very extremely well. I've raised you on my own. Children are different, okay? You and Jaybiez were not the same children, okay? Y'all didn't have the same struggles. Y'all didn't have the same issues. So your upbringing is going to be different.
I do want to acknowledge that you've done a lot of things right, and I say that because sitting next to you is a very fine example, is doing very well, as you say. I think I would say the same thing sitting across from you here. There are a lot of really fine qualities here that you have to respect. There's a strength of character here, a conviction, and a lot of the strength has to come from the role model that you provided of conviction and standing up for yourself. You've done a lot of things right along the way, and I hope you're proud of that, and I hope you're proud of a lot of the strength and conviction that you see sitting next to. Hope that, as Ashley Marie is saying, that you would want to be a source of strength for both of your children, whether these two children, whether that you agreed with everything either of them chose in their lives or whether you didn't.
The show isn't about, I don't you. I love you.
I don't think
well, you don't have to. I'm
over it.
So you'll hear from me, and so the whole world will hear. I love my son, Jaybiez. And what I want you to understand is that so this is what you don't get. I think that
I'm the one that don't get
I think that these feelings are going both ways. I think that you feel like you don't have a mom, and I feel like I don't have a son. When you were telling me that this is you now, you don't understand. I want.
Girl, shut the fuck up.
Like, you're taking somebody away from me. You're not. You don't want to be my son, but you want me to be your mother.
I don't want you to be my mother.
Okay, but I still want you to be my son.
Okay. Well, over it.
So change it.
Simple.
What changes
to
are
therapy? Maybe stop trying to bulldoze us and dismiss our emotions like you have done on this stage.
It's not trying to bulldoze you or dismiss your emotions. It's the fact that I'm not going to let
Girl,
you
gone.
tell me that my son is a woman.
Just outside.
You bulldoze. Even with me.
I've never asked her to call me a woman. That's one of her main argument points. She can't make money.
Jaybiez. Who is Jaybiez?
Jaybiez. That's my name. That's what I go by.
Did you change it?
I'm a boxer.
You know she Republican. She had to try to get the white woman tears, girl.
So what I wanted to say was, Angela can sit across from me right now and try to make up whatever excuse in the world she could want to for me and her relationship. Let's give it to her for argument's sake. I was a horrible child. Angela has 4 other children gotten into it with.
They're not here.
Who she has all.
They're not here.
They wrote
let this child, let them speak for themselves. You can't speak for them.
So there's an old saying where there's smoke, there's a fire. If Jay was the problem, Jay wants to be respected as a woman. Jay is an issue. Jay is disrespectful. Take Jay out of it. Jay was the problem. Right. Angela has had some type of emotional trauma or issue with all of her children.
Let me say something. On her own for
so if you want to,
there are going to be some instances when you and your children don't get along. Why are you trying to make it seem like this has been every single day of our lives? You all are taking instances.
No, it has been repetitive.
I'm raising children. And there are issues when you raise 3 teenage boys by yourself. There are issues, so we have had to address issues as a family. If anybody in here is a parent,
she threatens my education. Literally, as a punishment, she threatens my education.
This the part.
She threatened to withdraw me from school as punishment. She threatened to withdraw me from my grade council as punishment. She has taken my technology and made me take late penalties because she didn't want to give me my computer to do my homework.
I thank you for your comments. I thank you for your comments. Would you like to make a final comment?
I've talked to so many mothers of deceased Black trans women who ask themselves and sit around wondering what they could have did different to bring their baby back. And the miracle in this moment is that you don't have to wonder. If you have an open heart and an open mind, you have the capacity to build something much stronger than it was before. And so I really just ask Angela to really just look within herself, recommit to that bond that she had at home and place her in her arms and think about what she wants the future outcome to be.
Who is her?
Yeah, I couldn't say that you always stay calm with a clear message. Thank you. I want to be supportive of this platform. So. I want to thank all of my guests today, and a very special thanks to you, to trans activist Ashley Marie Preston. For information about today's show, log on to drphil.com. Thanks for being here.
Will she accept her son?
I don't want your approval.
Sir,
as a woman?
You want to force me to believe that the son that I gave birth to is a woman. That's not, excuse me, I'm not done.
You have to be done at some point. You have to let someone else speak.
You, Dr. Phil. Check your local listings.
I'm over Angela.
Girl, Angela does not have my...
I'm over her. She's ignorant.
Like when I tell you, cravings will come true.
One of the dumbest bitches.
Taco Bell.